Hey, welcome back, comic fans. It's Mr. Q Comics back with some more show and tell. Today I have a fantastic haul, a nice stack of key books and Golden Age books that I picked up last week. I was on the road for work, headed down to Pennsylvania. I had some customer visits in a couple of different towns. And as always, I take the opportunity to hit up local comic book shops and antique shops. Didn't have much success with the antique stores on this one. I primarily was focusing on comic book shops. I've kind of hit up most of the antique shops in my typical driving area, so I decided I'm going to focus on actual comic shops, and I hit up quite a few different spots and had just a fantastic trip overall. So before we dive into the haul, guys, if you're a fan of comic book hauls, please do me a favor, go down below, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and please leave me some comments. Let me know what you think about these books. Okay, so I had two stops on my drive down, both in Connecticut. I think I might hit up a few other stops that didn't have some success, maybe a couple antique shops. I can't remember, but regardless, first stop was a small comic book shop called Heroes and Hitters. It was located in Rocky Hill, Connecticut. It seemed like this was a side business. I think the gentleman mentioned that he was a realtor, real estate agent by profession. So I spent a little bit of time there. They didn't have a ton in the way of back issues. They had some, but it was more kind of modern or copper age back issues. But I did pick up a couple of books, both off the wall. I was really surprised at the prices on these. They were unbelievably cheap, in my opinion. First book is Nova #1. Not in the best shape. It's got kind of like a indent line. It looks like someone tried to erase something. The biggest problem is, and you're not going to see it in the bag, is the bottom is kind of got a bend line here, like someone jammed it in the box and it got folded over. Could easily be pressed out, I think. He had it marked as a good, very good, and I think the price tag, let me see, I think he had it at like $12 or something like that, and I was like, I'm not leaving that behind for $12. So grab that. And then he had a copy. This is low grade, but Star Wars #1. I think he had this marked at like 35, something like that. But so it's a VG copy. It is beat up. But I mean, then I get to the register. I'm just buying these two books, and he just takes 15% off additionally. So I thought that was fantastic. Super friendly guy. Again, it was a small shop, but fantastic pickups here. The prices were dirt cheap. I thought those were amazing deals, and to just give me 15% off, I wasn't even asking for a deal at all. So great pickups there. Great way to start the road trip for sure. I mean, I will always take those books for that cheap. I'm not going to leave them behind. All right, next stop was in Newton, Connecticut. This was, I think it was Cave Comics. The receipt came out differently. I think it might have been a couple of different names at some point, so I'm not sure. Again, this was a smaller shop. He had some back issues, but really not a lot of like Silver Age stuff like that. He did have back issues. He didn't have everything boarded. It was mostly just bagged, which made it really tough to dig through the bins. And I was really just trying to focus on bigger books this trip and not get caught digging through too many dollar bins and stuff, which obviously can be fantastic, but it's just time consuming. So I was trying to be a little more make better use of my time, let's say. So I picked up a couple of wall books he had. He had a copy of Uncanny X-Men #142. Decent shape, probably fine, very fine range. It's got some color breaks on the bottom there. I think that was $25, something like that. And then he had this in his case, which I think he said he had just put out, and he wasn't really flexible on price, but that was okay. I thought they were priced fairly. Pretty solid copy of DC Comics Presents #26, first appearance of the new Teen Titans, I believe. I forget exactly everything that's in there, but yeah, really nice copy. Probably VF near mint range. So I was hoping to get this a little cheaper, but he had it at $150, and I took it. I try and make a point that if I'm stopping in these shops, I like to make sure I buy something, start up some conversations, meet the people in the shop, as long as it's a good experience. There are some shops that are bad experiences, but this is a super friendly guy. It was a small shop, and this was a pretty solid copy, so happy to pick that up. I had a copy, and I've probably had a couple and sold them, so this is a pretty solid copy, so really happy with that. All right, and then that was it for the first day, and then I was driving between one meeting to another, so I had like really limited time, and I was driving through. We had a snowstorm, so I hit up this other shop. It looked like more of a gaming shop. It was called Golden Eagle Comics and Games. It was in Reading, Pennsylvania. I had like literally 30 minutes or something, and I'm digging through his back issues, and he's in the process of buying Magic collections, and I'm starting to wonder, am I gonna have time to buy stuff? So, but he had some comics on the wall, and he had some Golden Age up there, and I have to say, digging, he had back issues. Again, it wasn't a ton of silver and stuff, but there was silver in there. One of the more fairly priced shops I've ever seen. I think I saw some kind of negative Google reviews about the shop, but I gotta say, the books themselves, it was like he would just have a bunch of Bronze Age Hulk, and he just mark them all $3 or something like that. So really fair prices. I mean, silver, ton of Silver Age at like $7 to $10. Not like, ASM or anything like that, but really fair prices. I wish I had more time to dig around because he did have quite a bit of stuff. I just didn't have the time, but I did pick up a few wall books. He did help me out on price on this. Again, pricing was really reasonable. I don't know a ton about this, but the cover just really caught my eye. The cover's detached, but it really does pop. It is Crazy Comics number 5. So this is, oh my God, I'm drawing a Ziggy Pig, Flip Ziggy Pig. I'm forgetting what it is. So it's from Marvel as USA Comics Corp, I believe, Comics Corporation. It's a Vince Fago cover from 1943. I put this in like the fair to good range because the cover is detached, but man, super cool cover. I think this worked out to like $31 when I bundled everything together. So super cool book there. Now this, I am not a Captain Marvel fan, but this book caught my eye just for the cover, and I looked it up, and it's a pretty sought after Captain Marvel Jr. issue. It is beat, but it is Captain Marvel Jr. number 115. Kind of faded out, but it's this crazy monster eyeball cover. He's punching him in the face, and his eyeballs are shooting out of his head. This is awesome. I had never seen this. And he had it like in the top right corner, like the far corner of the wall, which is like the back corner of the store. And I think he had this priced at like $99. So with the discount he gave, it worked out to $89. It's in the good range, but it's a Bud Thompson cover from Fawcett, 1952. I thought that was super cool. He had other Golden Age books up there too, but I just didn't have the time, and I wasn't sure what they were. And, there was a big book behind it that I wanted to get. So the final book, this was a great price. I thought a book I'd been looking at elsewhere as well, but he had this just sitting on the wall. Again, more of a card shop, and you go in there and he's got this big DC key sitting on the wall. It is Justice League of America number 1, the first solo series. This is Murphy Anderson cover from 1960. Again, this is in the good range. It presents really nice, I think, but the cover is detached at the top, at the bottom staple rather. I think it's got some splitting there, but pretty solid copy. Worked out to about $530 when I bundled it up, which I thought was a pretty fair price. I think I was looking at like 2.5s and 3s and what they're going at on GPA. I think they were just under $1,000. So I thought that was a pretty solid price, and I was just not expecting to see this big of a Silver Age key on the wall in the shop. So super happy to pick this up. I thought this would be the highlight of my week, but amazingly, I picked up even better books. Well, maybe not better books, but some more really good books. So, all right, next stop. This was weird. I always just, Google on the GPS comic book shops. Found one came up in Pottstown, PA, which was right 10 minutes from my hotel. So I drive to the address, and I'm in a residential neighborhood. So I think this is weird. I call the number. I start chatting with the guy. He just he sets up in a flea market, but for some reason he's got a Google ad with his home address. So that's where it brought me. But we start talking. I'm asking about, Silver Age keys and Golden Age, and he's got some Golden Age he's willing to part with. So he's like, yeah, I'll bring him out. It was just kind of a funny transaction. We're just kind of standing in the road in this neighborhood talking, and then eventually we go back into his home office so I could kind of count pages on some of these books. But man, got some great books from this guy. This is called Brixton and Company. If you look them up, he's going to have 2 addresses. I'm drawing a blank, but the flea market is in Kutztown, PA. I drove by it. I think it's called Renegers, and it looks like he has a pretty nice setup. It only opens on Saturday, so it looks like he actually goes to that spot on Saturday and kind of mans the shop. Looks like he's got a bunch of boxes, wall books. Everything was reasonably priced, I thought. I mean, he gave me some great deals. So I got 6 books from him, starting with Victory and his Flying Saucer. This is in pretty nice shape, a solid VG fine, I think. Maybe even just low fine range. It's got a little chip out of the spine. This is from Fawcett, 1950. I think it's the only issue. It's kind of got one of those painted and photo covers. I don't know who did the artwork. So, you know, I had bundled everything together, so this worked out to like 44 bucks on this. So, Flying Saucer, Golden Age book for 44 bucks. That is a win. Next, we've got Crusader from Mars, #2 from Ziff Davis Productions. This is one of those cool painted covers. I think this is the final issue. You've got a cool bondage cover. Again, Ziff Davis comic group from 1952. Good range. It's got tape all down the spine. I think like the original bottom staple fell out. Someone added another staple. This worked out to 89 bucks. So I thought that was pretty cool. And man, he had some great Golden Age on his personal shelf that he wasn't parting with. A Tales from the Crypt I wanted, a couple of gorgeous Planet comics, stuff he just picked up off Facebook market group. Some great Batman covers. So I'll get down there again. Hopefully I'll get to pick up some more books because these were just amazing finds in my opinion. Next we have got 4-color number 375 from Dell, John Carter of Mars. So I believe, so not on the CGC label, but people mark this as the first John Carter in comics. I don't know if that's accurate. I assume it is. Again, it's from Dell, 1952. A Jesse Marsh cover. Probably VG range. This one worked out to like 54 bucks, which I thought was a good price. Basically, he had just like a small stack of Golden Age that he was willing to sell, and I was like, I'm just going to buy everything. This one he pulled out while we were talking. He had it on his PC shelf, and then was like, you know what? I'd sell this as well. I had never seen this. This one is definitely staying in the personal collection for the time being. This is just an amazing, I thought this was an amazing Jack Kirby cover. I've never seen a lot of the earlier horror books by Kirby. This is Black Magic. Okay, I think it's marked as issue 12, but I think it's issue 6 of volume 2. I don't know how they worked it, but awesome, really creepy Kirby cover here from Prize Comics, 1952. This one, I looked up some prices online. I might have overpaid a little bit. I think you could get this cheaper. It's a really nice copy, but it's got chipping along the edge with some bits kind of falling out. But this is, you know, VG range, I think, and it worked out to about 89 bucks. So not a bad price, but I saw some other copies that probably looked a little bit better going cheaper on eBay. Those might have been auctions though. So still, this, when he took this out, I'm like, that cover is awesome. So I was very happy to grab that. All right, last two, and these are the two that I really had wanted. I screwed up a little on this because I didn't catch this, and neither did he. Well, because we were both kind of looking these books up, trying to work out, you know, good prices on them. But man, this is an awesome cover. This is Space Detective #1. This is a Wally Wood cover. Okay, so I didn't realize it at the time because when I looked it up, this is originally by Avon Publications. So this one itself is done by IW Publishing. It's a reprint. I think it's from 1958. It actually reprints Space Detective #2, the original, which was put out by Avon in 1951. So this still was a pricey book, even the reprint. I saw it, you know, going for a couple $100, excuse me, easily on my comic shop. So this was the one I wanted the most, and the next one actually, this worked out to like 135 bucks, and I have this probably in the. This is a solid VG fine. Again, a little bit of chipping out of there, so just a super cool cover. I mean, these, you know, Golden Age sci-fi books. This is obviously Silver Age because it's the reprint, but man, awesome Wally Wood cover there. Now I'll have to try and find the original series, which I'd never seen those before. I'd never seen this one either, and this cover immediately caught my eye. And I'm like, that is crazy. I have to have it. This is just this cover is awesome. All right, so the next one, Robot Men of the Lost Planet #1. Look at that cover. Look at these robots. They're so. I don't even know if those look like they got human bodies with these crazy looking clown robot heads. Oh my god, I just thought this was amazing. As soon as he pulled it out, I'm like, that is nuts. I have to have that one. So this is from Avon. I think this is the only issue. This one's decent. I think it's got a spine split as well. So I put in the good, very good range. This one worked out to $89 as well. So I think of all of them, this was probably the best deal. Super happy to have this. I love these weird, kind of quirky sci-fi books. Anything I've never seen. So, man, I was super happy to pick these books up. That was it from this guy here. So, super cool. I think so. Everything worked out to like $500, which I thought was just a great deal. It was just a good time chatting with the guy, talking about collecting and golden age books and hunting for books and all the experiences of finding collections. So it was just a great stop. It was really unique, and I'm glad it worked. I'm glad he was home. I'm glad he was fine with me coming in and buying some books. So, all right, final day. Driving home, long drives, like a 7.5 hour drive, and I was looking for a couple different stops. I did hit one place in Connecticut. The guy had a couple of great books. He had like a Batman #9 that was restored, but man, I don't remember the name of the shop. I won't even give the name. The shop owner was just totally standoffish. Like he didn't take me seriously that I was looking to buy any big books. He seemed almost skeptical when I started inquiring about the bigger books and talking about pricing. He had some Silver Age books, but it was one of the most obscenely overpriced comic shops I'd ever been into. He had filler Silver Age books of like random Fantastic Four issues that were maybe fine, and he'd have them priced at like $180. He had like the first Shang-Chi Raw priced at like $1,200, something ridiculous. Like he hadn't updated prices in years. And it's funny because the Batman I was looking at, I had seen photos on his shop site that looked like they were like 6 years old. So it had just been sitting there. A lot of the books looked faded, like they'd been sitting on the wall for so long because they were so overpriced that the colors were fading. So I spent a little time. I think I tried to pick up, I think there was like a cool sci-fi book. Can't remember what it was. It was a cool book I was looking at, but he had it marked at like $600, and the going prices on eBay were like, $150 to $200, and he was like not willing to work at all. So I spent very little time in there. Took off and ended up finding this shop, which was far friendlier. This was called, let's see, this one was A Hero's Legacy. This was in Manchester, Connecticut. Again, small shop. Did not have a ton of stuff, but they had a small case with a few keys. They had also just gotten in a bunch of like Dells and older books, so I did pull out a few old Plastic Man. Really beat up copies, nothing special with these, but I kind of bundled them up with everything else. We got Plastic Man 53. These are all like good range. We got 55. And finally, we've got 58. So I think one of them was like 22. The other ones were like $20, which is probably right at fair market. Probably a little over fair market, I guess, just based on the condition. But I didn't really look them over too closely. He'd point out the box after we agreed on these last two books, and I was like, oh, I'm going to grab those as well. So this book was in their case. I thought it was in decent shape, priced really reasonably. Golden Age book. This is post-World War II Schoenberg. It is Black Terror number 26. A little bit of a funky spine roll on the top, but not bad shape. I think he had it like $89 in the case, and I was like, geez. Counting the pages, it's complete. It's in readable condition. It's not falling apart. So a Schoenberg cover for less than $100 I thought was a steal. So I was happy to grab that. And then the book that I was kind of bundling up to get, I have this, but my copy is really beat. I bought it years ago. It's like water damage with mold. It's in really bad shape. So they have this one raw, and anytime I can find nice, solid, decent shaped keys that are not graded yet, I love to take that opportunity. So this was just, to me, fantastic way to end the road trip. We've got Avengers number 57, just a beautiful John Buscema cover. This is probably going to be one of the top Buscema covers, I would think. I mean, he has so many fantastic Silver Age covers. We always talk about Kirby and Steranko, but man, Buscema has so many amazing covers, and this is, to me, got to be, top 10 at least, top 5. Obviously, first appearance of Vision from 1968. So this is a really nice. This is probably high fine, maybe a fine, very fine, way better than my copy. I mean, they were totally flexible. I think the sticker on this was like $700, and after we started looking at the other books, he ended up giving it to me for like $350, which I thought was fantastic. Probably I would say that's better than current fair market value on that. So I thought that was a great pickup. Really happy to get that. I'm not sure if I'm going to get it graded or not, or keep it raw in my PC. So I got to figure that out. But that is it for the road trip, guys. They most of the time do not go that well. I really had some good luck on this one. So super happy with these books. So again, if you're a fan of these videos, guys, do me a favor, go down below, hit the like button, hit subscribe. Let me know what you think. Talk to you soon.